Welcome to our Albany Poets Presents Poetry Open Mic here at lovely and tropical Valentines. We have a few poets on the list. Our first poet up, I had to actually walk over to the list to make sure he was number one. Dan Wilcox. Number one, you're always number one.
This one I wrote in response to a newspaper article I saw a couple years ago, and it was about, I think it was the Episcopal Church had this woman consecrated as a bishop. And it was like written up as this big deal. Well, now they have this woman bishop, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe she was made like the big bishop or the top bishop or something, I don't know. But whatever it was, but it was really touted as, I'll just tout it, as the, showing how progressive they were. They had these women in power in the church. So this is called The Lady Bishop. Actually, this was published in a journal that came out of some college in Connecticut, out of a women's studies and gender program. They dug this, so that was really cool. Anyway, it's called The Lady Bishop. There is a lady bishop here in America, the newspapers tell me. I imagine her pointy hat in procession, rising majestic, hierarchical, above what I imagine to be her ample bosom. Her scrubbed hand around the crozier, the way an experienced woman would grab your penis for pay. Why should this fact, the lady bishop, not the stairwell hand job, give some persons hope? I am as frightened of her hand on the crozier as I am of the angry hillbillies recounting of the Vedic god's penis as long as the universe, proof in his poor brain that God is a man, not a woman, a claim that upset him more than a snake uncoiling from the stone vulva. Need we bother? Better to find God with or without a penis, or cunt, or, I mean, if we are to give God all these human attributes, besides the equipment of gender, anger, ears to hear our prayers, compassion, the gifts of words and text, all purely human achievements, not worthy of a lofty God, then if God is so human, then where, I ask those barroom theologians, where can it be that God shits?
I think that is one of those questions that's never going to be answered. Where does God shit? Our next poet up hosts Vox over at the Fusebox. Next one's on the 27th. Engelhardt.
This is actually the first poem I read in January at the beginning of Vox. And it's a tribute to the very first, the very mean reading that a lot of the local poets who are on the scene now became. It was a Q2 reading. It was run by Tom Nantel back in the day. And this is a tribute to that. This is called In This Place of Sound and Light. This is my religion. This is my church, and nothing else matters. Words. They are the ghosts of poets which rain down upon the future, but that live within the past. The signs which say we lived. Go back to the beginning, go back to that place where the voices of the memories take the stage. I see Tom walking in with the sign-up sheet. And over there, Pat Covert, smoke in his mouth, waiting, making some wisecracking remark to some frightened kid who's reading for the first time. And in the front, Dan is taking pictures and passing out flyers, still talking about peace. And now there's Mary, Tess, Don, and Steve making some fun of some guy in a polyester suit with a long Whitman beard. Hippie. But we're all still here, and all for the same reason, and all for the same thing. Because we are all addicts to the pen and to the paper. And we all need to say something because we all have our reasons to say it. After all, what makes you a poet anyways? Why do you still write? Keep napkins and discarded sheets of paper, all just for that one line which says, everything, I'm here, believe. As over the years, we see people come and go, while the places remain the same. And our souls are who we are when we get up upon that stage, exposed. So where's White Boy? Where's Fleming? And where is Matt Kelly? And all the voices of the disappeared? Where punk rock meets the 1960s, the revolution meets anarchy, George Bush, Ronald Reagan, Clinton, and versus sex in the bathroom, Sestina's sonnets and the avant-garde, poems about love, sorrow in Vietnam, hardcore drinking, and Budweiser on the hoof. And one poet asks, where are all the professors? Where are all the poets? By body or by soul, by mind or by time, we are all in some way still here, connected in this place of sound and light, words and verses, where all of it mattered and all matters still.
Next poet up, Nicole Karas.
Called Snakes, which I didn't realize was sexual until someone told me.
Oh.
It is now. Thanks. It was obvious, but I didn't see it right. We all want to be snakes at one time in our lives, silent, knowing, bite the apple evil. Come on, you know you want to. All that knowledge, little did you know, made you ashamed, changed your garden. But all of us would trade in slick for try too hard, sadistic for act too nice, sinful for hours of knee-crunching prayer, for a minute, or maybe a day. It's just fact. As it winds between your legs without noise and without reservation, it needs no permissions as it helps itself to the buffet. Who else wants some fruit from this tree? It's delicious.